from Charlotte Motor Speedway, the VisionAire 500 for the Indy Racing League. They now race stock cars at the Brickyard, so bring the Indy cars on down to the heart of NASCAR country and turn them loose. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Joy. Joining me, the 1996 co-champion of the IRL, Scott Sharp. Now, you've tested here. What about running Indy cars on these high banks?
It's a true thrill, Mike, to run the new IRL cars on these high banks. The 24 degrees not only let them run some tremendous speeds, but it creates the opportunity for multiple grooves, creating real wheel-to-wheel racing.
And we saw just that in the first IRL night race at Texas. How about this battle for the lead?
Tony Stewart in the yellow car, Buddy Lazier in the purple car. Both cars could go low, high, true wheel-to-wheel battling.
It's great fun for these drivers, some of whom have never run 200 miles per hour before, and it's a great treat for the fans. But is it treacherous?
The drivers are worried out there. It's so fast here. 215, 216 average, over 220. Drivers are worried about getting caught up in someone else's accident, not having enough time to react. The spotters are going to play a big role today.
Well, let's go down and meet the drivers who will start on the front row. Earlier, Mike King spoke with the front row sitters.
There's no place like home. There's no place like home. No, we're not talking about Kansas. We're talking about the front row. 7 of 8 Indy Racing League events this season. That's where you've been able to find Tony Stewart on the front row. And for the 4th time in 6 events, Tony, you sit on the pole. 217 miles an hour, your qualifying speed. Over 215 miles an hour on full tanks. Can we expect to see those kinds of speeds during this race?
Well, I don't know. You know, nobody's really ran at night here with the weather that we've had from the hurricane. None of us have really had a chance to run in the dark yet. So we really don't know what the lights are going to be like other than what we had in testing, but we sure don't know what the race speed's going to be yet.
Good luck to you tonight, Tony, as he starts on the pole. Well, it is hot, it is humid, and it is high bank. This man has won 2 of the last 3 Indy Racing League events. He'll start on the outside of 1. Ari Lyondike, how much will the factors of this race, physically and condition-wise, play into fatigue during this event?
I think this race is going to be very hard on the drivers just because of the bumpiness of the racetrack, especially between 3 and 4, and coming into the pits, the warm-up lanes are very bumpy, and we have to use those leaving and also coming into the pits. So I think this is going to be one of the toughest races for the drivers physically, and with the humidity, it's going to even aggravate that more.
Ari Lyondike will start on the outside of row 1. It will be Tony Stewart on the pole. Now let's go to Brian Hammonds.
Mike, A.J. Foyt is the car owner for both cars in row 2. Starting 3rd, Billy Boat. His best qualifying effort yet. He was very strong in the other night race a few weeks ago in Texas. Expect him to be strong tonight. He actually took the flag, the checkered flag first, but a scoring error bumped him back to 2nd place. Starting alongside his teammate Davey Hamilton, the points leader in the IRL. His best finish has only been 3rd place. He's doing it with consistency. He's finished every race. Nobody else can say that. He wants to do more here in Charlotte than just finish. He wants to finish first. Mike Joy. 23 teams stand at the ready. Let's go trackside for the command.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
At Charlotte Motor Speedway, they have fired the engines. The Indy Racing League is about to make its first appearance here.
The IRL Charlotte 500K is sponsored by True Value, Pennzoil, Firestone, and by Aurora by Oldsmobile.
Here's the way they line up for the VisionAire 500. Tony Stewart on the pole. Finally, a winner at Colorado 1 race ago. The Indy 500 and Texas winner, Ari Lyondike, shares the front row. Billy Boat subbing for Scott Sharp. He led a lot at Texas. And Davey Hamilton, the point leader. Row number 3, Buddy Lazier, the 96 Indy winner, and Jim Guthrie, victorious at Phoenix. Roberto Guerrero, twice 2nd in Indy, and so was Scott Goodyear. They share the 4th row. Stefan Gregoire, 2nd in Colorado, and Mark Dismore, a 24 Hours of Daytona winner. In row 6, Marco Greco, 5th in the point standings, and Vincenzo Sospiri, who started on the front row at Indy. Jimmy Kite had never gone 200 miles an hour before this weekend, and he was fast in last night's practice. Eliseo Salazar, winner in World Sports Car Competition. In row 8, Eddie Cheever, the ex-Formula One driver who won at Orlando, and Afonso Giaffoni, who drives for the Chitwood brothers. In row number 9, Greg Ray driving for stock car magnate Richard Childress and Kenny Breck, who led a lot at Phoenix. In row number 10, Jack Miller has the only Infinity power plant in the field, and Robbie Groff, a graduate of 3/4 midgets and Indy Lights. In row 11, former sports car champ John Paul Jr., who won the Michigan 500 in '83, and Mike Groff, who also comes up from Indy Lights. And in the 12th row will be Sam Schmidt, former SCCA champion, a graduate of Formula 2000. Charlotte Motor Speedway, a 1.5-mile quad oval, where turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 are each banked 24 degrees, 5-degree banking on the straightaways, and the double dogleg along the front stretch. You'll be riding along with Tony Stewart, starting from the pole. There's Roberto Guerrero in the number 21, former pole sitter at Indy. Scott Goodyear starting alongside Guerrero in car number 6. Kenny Breck, who's had some troubles here this weekend and is deep in the field, starting 18th. And Mike Groff, who rolls off from the all-crutches 11th row. He and John Paul Jr. on the mend and coming back. Looking for the green flag, and we're racing at Charlotte. Turn 2, Tony Stewart is expected the leader, but here comes Lyondike down the backstretch.
And boy, that's Davey Hamilton right there in the orange and white car going on the inside of Ari Lyondike. Good move.
Bold move by Hamilton as they wanted to get single file before turn 4.
Davey was really strong yesterday's practice session. I expect him. He's in a points race with Tony, and he's going to go challenge him.
Tony Stewart picked up 2 points for winning the pole to close that gap. It is Stewart in yellow, Hamilton in red and white on the right of your screen. Lyondike fighting off a challenge from Billy Boat. You're riding with Kenny Breck.
Kenny's had a tough weekend dealing with some motor problems. Has a long way to go to work his way up through the field here. But I think you'll see him go.
Through the quad oval, back to turn 1. These cars are some 40 miles an hour faster than the Winston Cup cars here at Charlotte, and they just rocket around this speedway. Here comes Buddy Lazier in purple and yellow underneath Billy Boat.
He also ran well in yesterday's afternoon session. Expect to see a strong run from him all day.
Scott, the pass made at turn 4. That's the one place most drivers said they didn't want to try to pass here.
It's a bit daunting up there. There's some big bumps. You don't want to be the guy going around the outside of turn 4, that's for sure. But Buddy was able to just put it right down on the inside of Billy and pull the pass off.
Billy Boat tries to return the favor, dropping underneath Lazier, who comes down to cover the spot. 12-car length lead for Stewart.
I talked to Buddy Lindblom, who is the team manager for Ari Lyondike right before the race, and he was real concerned. He didn't seem too optimistic. He was worried that Ari might just fade a little bit here. They've been struggling a little bit, even though Ari was able to pull out a good qualifying run.
Lazier and Boat. Buddy Lazier in purple. Billy Boat in that blue and white number 1 of A.J. Foyt, keeping close tabs on one another. And going after Lyondike toward turn 1, there's Lazier working hard on the outside, 2 abreast in turn 1. Lazier's going to make the pass coming off turn 2.
That's a strong move, I tell you. To be able to go around the outside this early in the race.
Billy Boat looking in, who led an awful lot of Texas, got the checkered flag, but scoring recheck. Took him out of victory lane. Also, Mark Dismore has come from 10th on the grid up to 6th position. A lot of shuffling here in this early going. Jack Miller down on the apron and in trouble between turns 3 and 4. The only Infinity Nissan power plant in the field. As Nissan not leaving the series, they're regrouping, working on their reliability and power. But something's wrong with Miller's car. Tony Stewart up front. There's Davey Hamilton in 2nd, Lazier in 3rd, and Billy Boat coming on for 4th on the bottom of the racetrack, passing Lyondike.
Looks like Ari is just trying to get a real feel for his car, trying to get comfortable right now. Doesn't look like he's too quick to try to fend off these guys. A lot of time left. Long long race here.
Look on the right side of your screen. Is that Dismore coming up to challenge Lyondike? He started back in 10th.
Boy, he's flying. They've had a tough time. They had to change the motor right before qualifying. They felt like they maybe were going to take a little bit of a chance with their setup, maybe just hit it right for the race.
There are two chassis builders in IRL, G-Force and Dallara. A third, Riley and Scott, very successful in World Sports Car Racing. And Mark Dismore will debut the new Riley and Scott car at New Hampshire next race. It doesn't look like you get any chance to relax here. These cars look so fast around this speedway.
Well, you're almost turning the same speed you run at Indy, but it's a mile shorter. So you're constantly working all the way around the racetrack. And you don't really, you feel like you never have a chance to catch your breath. No straightaway to really relax on.
Dismore tracks Arie Luyendyk. This battle is for 5th place. They take it back to turn 1.
I think you'll see Dismore get him. He's taking his time working him, but obviously he's not having a problem running with Arie. Just has to pick the right spot to do it in.
How close can he get before the air off of Lyondike's car upsets Dismore?
You really have to try to make a run on him. Mark's going to just keep working on him. Here we see Greg Ray. Boy, he's really jumped up. He's come from 17th on the grid. He's flying in this black car, number 31.
That's the Richard Childress-owned car, a deal put together in just 48 hours last week. For Greg Ray to run here for Richard Childress, who owns the Winston Cup team that Dale Earnhardt and Mike Skinner drive for.
Greg blew an oil pump and almost had no practice time. Was able to come out and really qualify pretty well, and he's just come on strong as the weekends progressed.
He works underneath Eliseo Salazar to move up to 9th. Race for 2nd place.
Well, I tell you, I felt that Buddy Lazier might be tough, and he's really coming on at an early point. He's willing to pushing hard right now.
Buddy Lazier in purple and Dayglow yellow, and that's point leader Davey Hamilton in the red and white A.J. Foyt car.
Now we also see Billy Boat sort of eking into the right side of your picture there. That's going to become a good 3-car battle.
Meanwhile, Tony Stewart has opened up a sizable lead, half the length of the back straightaway, and here's your 2nd place race. Hamilton in red, Lazier in purple, Boat in blue and white. 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Luyendyk is 5th, Dismore still 6th. Guerrero is 7th, Scott Goodyear is 8th, Greg Ray up to 9th ahead of Salazar.
At this point in time, the driver's really starting to feel what they have, what kind of speed they have. They've burned off a little bit of fuel. Tires are good and warm. It's a good time that they really try to pick up the pace at this point in time, see exactly how fast the car is.
They've refired Jack Miller and the Indianapolis Dentist coming back on the track. As close call here with traffic. 3 wide. That's hard to believe.
Woo, that was close. Boy, I wasn't sure if Davey saw Buddy duck underneath him. It looked like Davey got a little held up by the lap car, and Buddy just kept the pedal to the metal on that one.
And that looks the kind of opportunism you're talking about, where Lazier saw that perhaps Hamilton might get balked by the car in front.
When you have a good handling car, it's so important to try to keep your momentum going, not have to lift too hard. If you have to go around the outside of a slow car, do it. Obviously, Buddy recognized that Davey was going to be a little bit held up and was able to take advantage of it.
15 laps were caution-free at Charlotte. And moving past traffic comes Lazier. That's Sam Schmidt, who started shotgun on the field. With 15 complete, Tony Stewart leads Buddy Lazier, Davey Hamilton, Billy Boat, and Mark Dismore at Charlotte.